Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are going to be working on this 2012 Audi A7, I believe, and it was towed here from another shop. Actually, the customer towed it out of that shop. He found me and decided to see if I can take a look at this. For the time being, I'm clearly just going to show you a little bit of what's going on so I can get inside the car and show you the symptom. So this module here is what we are concentrating on. I'll explain on that here in a little bit. But this vehicle all started with not being able to start, with the customer having someone doing, I believe, valve cover gaskets in a parking lot. After that, he said that the vehicle would not start. And so, because of, I'm assuming, trying to get value service, and I was trying to zoom in, or if you see there, the classic, I'll call it classic blue Velcro gasket. Someone that is doing this in the parking lot has now caused this and turned it into a no start, all because of, I believe, valve cover gasket. So who knows what they did, but it has left this vehicle in a dead state, no crank, no power up, and I'll show you what else I found. So I'll show you what it does when you get in it. So here's the key, and it's actually just a wireless key. So I'll hit the power button and everything does come up on the dash. Clearly you can tell that it goes into, I guess, displaying safe. And then everything does seem to power up, but I'll get you a shot of the trouble codes. But other than that, again, if I step on the brake down there and hit the button, nothing occurs. It's just you cycling through the key stages basically, and it'll shut itself off. It will power up, but obviously no starter engagement. So we clearly have some sort of issue. And as far as where we are, this is the module, the original module that one of the independent shops replaced. And it seems to be, let's see, considered right there, BCM2. But I'm not sure if in the Audi world it's called something else, like I don't know if it's called a mobilizer or an access type module, but most generally, even if you Google search online, BCM2, it's what it's referred to. So this is the module that was replaced. This is the original one. If this gets plugged back in, we get no key cycles. So up to this point, they did, I guess, make a correct call with this module, since we now are able to power up the vehicle with the new module they installed. It is from the dealer, but they couldn't do anything on their own, so they towed it to the dealer, and I guess it was there for 2 months or something crazy, and dealer couldn't get past programming or something with this module. So this is where we're at. We're gonna try and figure out if we can get this working or see what's going on and go from there. Okay guys, so as far as what I believe is probably going on is the fact that since this does hold immobilizer information, or is one of the big major players from what I understand and doing some research, I believe that basically, I think that the new module basically just is not maybe recognizing the key. So something within the, I guess, replacement or attempt of programming wasn't completed correctly, like all throughout all the steps, possibly. I'm not sure. I believe that the correct way to do this, if everything correctly is, if everything in the car is working correctly, meaning no shorted wires or anything crazy to the module, is that through Odis, you can go through the correct steps and procedures and install a especially new blank module and get it programmed properly. Again, I personally have not done one. I personally do not have Odis. If I truly do need to, I would be able to arrange a way to get that set up to possibly get it completed that way. But since, again, this is my first time messing with it, and I don't know what I'm doing, but maybe I'll try to see if I know what I'm doing, this is the original one. I've marked it with an X right there, just to not confuse anything. This guy here is one that I picked up from the local junkyard, and it's close on the numbers, but what I want to do is see if I can read this one, basically board level, and transfer it to this one, and see if I can get something working with the key. I'm not sure if there's extra steps as far as what I'm researching with the key when doing these modules in the Audi world, but I almost want to see if this is kind of like the other units that I've been doing or can be done, where you quote unquote simply clone a donor with this information and everything works properly. The other thing, again, remember, this guy is basically dead in the car. It doesn't power anything up. It obviously won't communicate. And then lastly, I don't know if the information that I'm going to try to pull is basically readable and retrievable. So that's going to be one of the things. It's part of the reason why I got this one at the junkyard. The fresh, blank, brand new one is still in the car. I want to mess with this first to see if I can pull anything, clone it, I'll reread it, and make sure that we are reading what we pulled from here. So let me get set up with that, see if we can make something happen, and go from there. Okay guys, so I've got my connections made. For this setup, you have to make your own basically harness. It doesn't use any of the pre-made adapter harness for this, so you have to use this section of the programmer, tap into your points there on the board, and let's see if we can get any type of reading. Let's see if I can even read an ID. Okay, so that's good news. Let's back out. So I am in the EEPROM section. I'm gonna go ahead and read that. See if we get a good read. Okay, it's past the 5%. Again, that's kind of a tipping point. If you pass that, it should read. Now I believe I have, the verification set, so it reads it twice, verify and compares to both, make sure it's the same read. So again, this is from the original BCM, let's call it. So it looks like it does have some data. Hopefully it's not anything faulted. So I will go ahead and save this. Okay, so that's saved. Now let's go ahead to the flash and do the same. Read, and this should take a little bit longer. It is a bigger portion of that it needs to read. Okay, past the 5%. Okay, we are towards the end of the second read for the flash, and there we go. That supposedly is a good read, both of them. So I'll go ahead and save this one as well. And I think, like I said, I'll go forward with the used unit and move this information over. Okay, so you just saw me pull the information off of the original BCM. We read the EEPROM, we read the flash, and so then off camera, I moved that information over to this used one that I picked up, that I purposely picked up to do basically kind of practice runs. So this one now has become a clone of the original one with that information we just moved over. And so after getting this one prepped, I did move this over to the vehicle, plugged it in, and nothing ended up happening. No powering up, no key cycling, nothing on the cluster, nothing came up on the dash, no messages, nothing. This used one has now become just like the original one as far as what it does or does not do. It's acting just like the original one. My only thought is that it is doing that because of the information we moved into this used unit. It's a completely different module, but it's acting exactly the same way as the original one. And it has original EEPROM info and flash info. And so now I'm beginning to wonder if that's the information that's messed up that's causing this to be quote unquote dead. So now we've got two with the same information, two of them acting the same way, both don't power up the car. And so now I've got to try to continue to figure things out. Okay, so clearly you saw that this used one that I assumed I cloned did not do anything when trying to key it up when we had it plugged into the car. You can tell I have marked it with the yellow dot. That's how I know that's the used one that I cloned. This one here is the original one that I took that info from, that I put in the used one. If now that one is acting dead like this one, only thing I can assume is whatever info in here got moved over is what basically shut down that module. So what I am doing is I was gonna put that one back to its original info that I did save and plug that back in, see if the vehicle at least comes up, because I think if you use a used one that is not messed up, it'll at least be able to kind of power up in order for you to be able to program it with odis, kind of like how the new OEM one is doing now. But since I've got this one connected, the original one, I was messing around with it, trying to see if there was anything that maybe I read wrong or whatnot. But since I have this one connected, what I am actually going to do is transfer this donor info into this original one and see if then that powers up the vehicle. If it's truly a kind of a, EEPROM and flash file failure. So that's going to be my next step. I'm kind of just messing around. Again, looks like we're probably going to have to go an odis way, but I'm just messing around trying to learn and see what's going on, especially because that one became a dead, non-responding one just like this, and all we did was transfer that info. So let's see if we can wake this one up and go from there. Okay, so I just swapped out the BCMs. This is the original, or the new one from the dealer that has been installed. There is the original one that I guess was damaged, we'll call it, and I'll see if I can get the shot of the X. So there it is, the marking. So this is the original one that we just cloned with the junkyard EEPROM and flash information. So we will go ahead, see if this one does anything. I'll close the door. Okay, and let me see. Open. All right. So, cluster is operating. Before, with this original one, nothing would happen. Nothing would light up, power up here on the dash. And then when we cloned the junkyard one with the original one's information, again, it was just all dead. So here's the key. I'll push the button. Key is not recognized. Hold back. Okay, so that too there is proof and and showing you that we truly have the junkyard's information in this used one, because it knows now that it's in a different car. That's why it doesn't recognize the key, and it's not letting us go through the key cycling stages. So hold on. So yeah, it's not going to make any difference there. So okay, that proves out a couple things. Number one, what is messed up and or damaged or not working or dead, whatever you want to call it, refer to, on the original BCM is the information in the MCU/EEPROM, all of that flash data, EEPROM data, all that seems to be so damaged or corrupted or such a bad state that it basically makes it inoperable. Yes, it's some that we can still pull up and read, but whatever we're pulling up, reading and writing, it's just messed up. It's deeming the module inoperable. Proving that out by obviously cloning the one that came in as inoperable with different information on the processor, and now it at least comes up as if it was the used one. So interesting to know as far as what got messed up or something. How it got messed up, we don't know. I'm almost wondering if they had jumped it backwards or something, but again, we do not know. We only know that original one's EEPROM information is messed up, which then also tells us we cannot clone to the new one to bypass any type of programming and stuff like that with key situations. So again, as I feared, we're going to have to go the true full odis proper way to get this one rectified. Not sure how much you can see. There's a ton of glare because we are outside, but basically we just had a gentleman help us. He connected through the laptop, set up odis, and actually went through the programming of the BCM and finalizing, making sure that that was the problem with the BCM2. That has now been completed, and we are now able to crank the vehicle and get it running. So this is the end of what we were asked to do, basically diagnose the no start issue. As you can tell, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a drivability issue to go through if the customer wants us to find out. Remember, this all started when someone did valve cover gaskets and who knows what else to the vehicle and created a problem. So for now, looks like the electrical portion, the BCM2 issue, has been rectified.